Hello YouTube. Today we're going to be making a chicken stew. An authentic Louisiana chicken stew. The way my mama taught me. She's from St. Martinville. I'm from Morgan City. I was born right here in Morgan City, Louisiana. And today we're going to show you how I cook a real authentic Cajun stew. Today we got chicken. That's all chicken thighs right there. You get that from your local market. I got chicken gizzards. You just can't have a stew without no chicken gizzards. I cleaned them this morning and put them in a bowl with some water, and they've been in an ice box. That's about 2 packages, about 2 pounds of chicken gizzards. And the spices we're going to be using today is nothing fancy. We got salt, cayenne pepper, black pepper, and garlic powder. And we got some green onions right here. We'll be putting all of that in there. And the Creole seasoning, the seasoning blend that you can get in the frozen section. It's got your Trinity in it. You got your onions, your bell pepper, your celery, and this and that. So I will get back to you here in just a second. Alright, welcome back. Now, the start of this, you cannot have a stew without a roux. So at this point, I am got my roux in my pot. I have 3 cups of flour to 2 cups of oil. It's in my black iron pot. That's basically all I really use it for, is my roux. I have it on a low to medium to let it get hot. And then I will start stirring it. I will get back to you with the roux when it's almost done. Alright, welcome back. As y'all can see, my roux is starting to tighten up. We still got a long way to go. This is what they call a blonde roux. However, I'm not looking for a blonde roux. I want a dark roux. So, when I'm done, this will almost be the color of milk chocolate. Instead of I've seen some make roux and it's just not quite dark enough. Some people say get it the color of peanut butter. I don't agree with that. Whenever I make a gumbo, whenever I make a stew, it has to be dark. But again, everybody's different. I'll be back in a little bit. Alright, YouTube land, now I'm back. Again, the roux is not ready. I'm just showing you the progress. This is what they would call a peanut butter color roux. It's not even close. But every time I turn it, it gets a little darker. We still got about another 20-30 minutes on this roux. I'll get back to you in a little bit. Alright guys, welcome back. I think my roux is complete. I'm fixing to take it off of the fire completely. So, now remember, this will continue to cook, but you have to take it completely off of the fire. Every time I turn it until it cools off, and it gets cooler and cooler, but it is going to continue to cook. Boy, if you could smell that right now. God, dog. Okay, so I'm going to leave that alone for right now. But that's the color you're looking for. Now I'm going to turn it again here in a little bit, and it's going to be a lot darker. But the hard part's over. Now as you can see, I have a big gumbo pot here. I'm going to shove it over here where I was cooking the roux. And I'm going to turn it up. And I'm going to get that to roll and boil. And then I'm going to get my chicken ready. I'll be right back. Okay guys, welcome back. As you can see, I got it to a ball. I did get a little ahead of myself. However, let me catch you up. This is where my roux was. And again, I had 3 cups of flour to 2 cups of oil. You seen the color of it. Okay. Once that was done, I had gotten my gizzards together and I drained them. And I had about this much water in that pot. About that much water in the pot. Okay. And what I added to that was all my gizzards after they were drained. Okay. I added that bunch of green onions that I cut up. And about 3/4 of this bag. That's about all I had left in it. But that's what's in it. Onions, celery, green peppers, red peppers, and parsley. That's what's in it. And it's called Pick Sweet Seasoning Blend. Giant size. You can never have too many onions. And over here I got all my chicken. That's 1 complete family pack of chicken thighs right there. And we're not going to be ready for that for a little while. We're going to let that boil and let it really boil quite a long time because the gizzards are very tough. So we're going to let that cook down. And we're going to let it get a little thicker and cook all them onions. Right? And it's going to get a little thicker. And then once I put my chicken in there, the chicken got a lot of water in it too. So I like a thick stew, which it was a little thicker than that, but once you add the onions, they're frozen. And all the other stuff, all that water comes out into the juice. And that chicken gizzards is going to give it more of a chicken flavor. Okay? So the next time I come back, I'll be ready to put my chicken in. Alright, welcome back. Now I told you next time I came back we was going to do some chicken, but not quite yet. However, I am going to put some seasoning in it. I've never really measured on my seasoning. I kind of do it to taste. So I'm going to put a little salt. You got to be a little reasonable. You know how the size of your pot, so don't put too much. Just remember, you can always add in your plate. You can never take away. So be careful with that salt. I'm going to add some black pepper. I'm going to add some garlic. This is old granulated garlic. Got to open up the other side. There we go. Garlic's pretty good for you. Now for the cayenne. You gotta be careful with this stuff here, because if you put too much, you done messed up. I like a little spice, but you gotta realize cayenne's hot. So at this point, that's all I'm gonna put in this. I'm gonna let that cook a little bit. At this point, I think I put enough, with the exception of the salt. So, you taste that a little bit. Definitely gonna need some more salt, but I'll put that in later. Okay? And right now I'm gonna continue to let this boil. And then I'm gonna let it boil about another 30 minutes, and then I'll put my chicken in. I'll be back then. Alright guys, we back. Let me fill you in on where we at and what we've done. Okay, at this point I have let it boil down. You can see what the water level was right there. I've let it cook down quite a bit. And I have also taken all of this grease out. Now remember, I told you I had about 2 cups of oil. Now, I didn't get it all, but I got most of it, because that oil will separate from that flour and it'll come to the top. And it's looking good so far. And I got about another 15 minutes right there. About 5 o'clock, I'm going to put my chicken in. Now, I started this adventure about 2:30. Something like that, 2:30, 2:45. So you see what kind of time it takes to make a stew. It ain't a quick thing. I couldn't be on that show named Chopped. I just couldn't do it. So let's take a look at my chicken again. I got 10 pieces of thighs right there. And at 5 o'clock, we're going to put them in there. Now again, we're going to be skimming some more grease off of it once the chicken's cooked. But I'm going to let that chicken, once I put that chicken in there, I'm going to let that chicken cook for about an hour. And then I'm going to turn it off and let it sit. Then I'm going to sprinkle some parsley on the top of it. Right? And then I'm going to let that sit a little while. Then I'm going to skim that grease and then it'll be ready to eat. Of course, the wife already cooked the rice there. It's ready to go. We're going to take a look at that. The rice is ready to go. And I made some potato salad this morning to go with that. It's in the ice box. So I'll be back here in about 15 minutes. Alright guys, it's time for me to put my chicken in. I'm going to start putting it in now. Now when you do this, the chicken's a little, it's not cold, but it's definitely going to stop your stew from boiling for a little while. It's also going to bring the level of your stew up. It's going to bring it up back to where it was cooked down. I'll show you here in a minute. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and turn that back up to a high until I get a good boil. But you just drop your chicken in like that. Let me wash my hands. Dry my hands. I'm going to bring you over here and let you take a look at it. Alright, I put all 10 pieces of chicken in there. And as you can see, it has brought the level back up. Right? Now, this is going to get thin because the water is going to be extracted from the chicken. So, I turned it up to about 8. I'm going to let it get to a rolling boil again. Then I'm going to turn it down to 5. And I'm going to let it cook down again until it gets thick. Here in about an hour, I'm going to check that out. And the meat should kind of come off the bone, but not falling off the bone, but come off the bone really well. And the gravy should be really, really thick. Alright? Remember that potato salad I told you about I made this morning? I used red potatoes, right? Some purple onion. And I made my own mayonnaise with the yolks. But that's for another show. But I don't use anything out of a jar. Everything comes from the egg. I use the yolks and oil and all that for my mayonnaise. A little salt and pepper and some onions. And that's it. And that's going to go on the side with some rice and gravy and chicken. I'll be back when it's done. Alright, it's been about an hour now. I have turned it down to low. I'm going to let it settle. At this point, I'm going to put some parsley in there. Right? This stuff right there. Oh, cheap dried parsley. See that right there? The chicken is done at this point. However, I am going to scrape the sides. And I'm going to let it sit. I'm going to let the grease come to the top. And that, my friends, is how you make a chicken stew. Till next time.